suppose chatting about Mayo, first of all, like obviously the news broke yesterday that James Horan steps down as Mayo manager. And there certainly has been a few candidates who has been linked with the Mayo manager so far. Like Ray Dempsey is the early front runner. He won two county titles with Knockmore. Obviously won a Connacht Club Senior Football Championship, got them to the Connacht Club Senior Football Championship final last year against Padraig Pearce's. They obviously came up short. But, Mike Solan's obviously been mentioned as well. Jim McGuinness, Kevin McStay. Like, what would be your thoughts? Like, who do you think should be the ideal man to come in and finally be the man to potentially lead Mayo to the eventual promised land?
The ideal man would be Jim McGuinness, but realistically that's not going to happen. Imagine Jim McGuinness going to Mayo now, but you know what? I think Dempsey does have the credentials, definitely. But look at even Lee Keegan and Kevin McLaughlin having moments with their children towards the end of the game. Like I was thinking, and even Mayo, there was no cutting edge about them on Sunday. And even James Horan leaving, maybe this is the end for this Mayo team. It started in 2011 when they dismantled Cork, surprisingly so. And even they got over Dublin, surprisingly so, in 2012. And they did well over the likes of Kerry as well for years to come. That Mayo team, the bulk of that, Lee Keegan might retire now. And that could be the end. Like Lee Keegan outstanding this year. And maybe this is the exit for Mayo players that they don't need, and like there's going to be a huge rebuilding job in Mayo. Like, I thought honestly Mayo would put up a better chance than they did against Kerry, and whoever comes in now, whether it be Stephen Rochford, whether it be Malik O'Rourke maybe, but he's doing a good job at Glen, maybe he'll stick to that project now. Maybe he'll go out to be like Meath or without a manager, So there's a lot of managerial merry-go-rounds maybe, like we did in the past year with Cork and Kildare and all that. Now it's Mayo and Meath. This is going to be a very interesting time for Mayo fans. But like honestly, just looking at that Mayo team in Croke Park and seeing the James Horan use yesterday, I'm honestly worried for this Mayo team whether they'll be at such a high stage at all or the semi-final or final again in the next few years. Like, even they had 12 wides against Kerry, they had more shots against Kerry, but there was always the feel they were going to lose the game. I just thought this is the end for this Mayo team. Even James Horan leaving, Lee Keegan, Kevin McLaughlin. You don't know about Cillian O'Connor now. Some people say he's finished. I think that's a bit harsh in all honesty. But this year he wasn't at his brilliant best. Maybe the injury had more of an effect on him than we thought. Like Aidan O'Shea, what's going to happen to him? Like, it's going to be a large exodus again of Mayo players, I think, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Lee Keegan and Kevin McLaughlin, where they'll leave now. Like, Lee Keegan's so imperative to that Mayo team. I'd be honest, I don't know what you think yourself, Aaron. I'd be worried about this Mayo team going forward, whether they'll have the drive again to go. Like, I don't think there was just something off about them on Sunday. Like, they didn't put up the Kerry at really any stage in the game. I thought Kerry were largely comfortable. And it's going to be a tough time to be a Mayo fan, I think, in the next few years. And when they'll win All Ireland next, God knows.
Yeah, funny enough, I actually would still think, funny enough, that they're gonna. I don't think they'll win the All Ireland next year or anything like that, but I still think they might still be thereabouts. Like, they still have Tommy Conroy, Ryan O'Donoghue to come back from injury. I think when you get them two back in your side, like, I think you're still. You've got two of the best forwards in the country there, in my opinion. Like the Miners obviously are in an All-Ireland final this year. All right, fair enough. It'll be a couple of years before they come through, but there's a couple of good players there that could definitely get Mayo fans excited. Like, they've been thereabouts in the under-20s. Like, they've been getting to, Connacht finals and everything else. And the Connacht sides have done quite well in the All-Ireland series in the under-20s the last couple of years. So, like, I still think there's a good crop of players coming through there. In my opinion, like, I still think there's a couple of players. Now, obviously, as you said, like, if they lose Lee Keegan, Kevin McLaughlin, Aidan O'Shea, Cillian O'Connor, like, losing them four in the one summer, shall we say, like, that's a huge turnover of players. Like, and I think, I think the one player for me that's virtually unreplaceable is Lee Keegan. Like, I think he's been probably Mayo's, and maybe not probably, he's been the best player of this sort of, like, generation of Mayo players. If we were to go from 2012 up till now, like, he's the one player that's turned up in All Ireland finals, that's kicked big points, big goals, and big moments. I remember one he got against Dublin, like in an All Ireland semi final. He's been so big, and he's been so crucial defensively as well. So losing him would be crucial, but I suspect that like they won't have all. I don't think all of them will leave in the same. Like in this summer, I think there might be a few of them that'd be curious to stick around maybe with a new manager. They might wait maybe like, like because if it was a Jim McGuinness, let's say, I could see a lot of those lads being like, you know what, right, we'll stick around for another year. So I think it really depends now on who the next manager is, to be honest.
It does definitely, but at the same time, would McGuinness take up his role in Mayo when he's getting that money from Sky and the soccer deals and everything? Yeah. Like, would he take the Mayo job? And maybe, like, I don't know, there's a bit of rivalry between Donegal and Mayo as well. I'm not sure would Donegal fans totally agree with him going to Mayo. That'll be another topic there. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Like, a few Mayo fans are talking about Stephen Rochford returning. I'm not sure will he return, in all honesty. It honestly wouldn't shock me if he returned. I don't think he will, though. Probably your man Dempsey from Knockmore probably will. Kieran MacDonald is another name that I've seen. But at the same time, that has kind of vibes about, let's say, Frank Lampard in the Premier League or Steven Gerrard stepping into managers way too soon. I think Kieran MacDonald needs a few more years to develop, maybe in the backroom team with Mayo before he gets a top job. I heard in your podcast Andy Moran might be. I think he needs another year at Leitrim, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
like it's a big one. This is a big appointment now for Mayo. All the media outlets point towards Dempsey because the two others, Moran and MacDonald, are inexperienced. Rochford and McGuinness, will they leave their roles up in Donegal or Sky Sports? I don't think they will. Well, maybe Declan Bonner is going to leave Donegal. Maybe there's a option to get Stephen Rochford in, but would he return to Mayo? That's the big question after he had 4 years. It's a big decision for Mayo, and honestly, like, it probably would if Jim McGuinness. I don't think he will, but if Jim McGuinness does get appointed as Mayo manager, Lee Keegan will definitely stick around because there's another year in him definitely. And Kevin McLaughlin, I'm not so sure, but that's for another discussion. He's mostly a bench player nowadays. Aidan O'Shea will probably stick around. Killian O'Connor will stick around. So, whereas I think if Dempsey came in, I think those players would leave. I know, not disregarding what he did a lot more, but he's not like the dream appointment that these Mayo players would want. If you know what I'm saying. But I would be surprised if I honestly would be shocked if Kieran MacDonald stepped up, but I think it's a bit too soon for him. If you know, like Jim McGuinness, would he do it? Would he leave Donegal, leave Sky Sports to go to Mayo? I'm not sure he will, but that'll be some appointment if Mayo did it. But is the money there, Mayo, to get Jim McGuinness in? If he doesn't go to Dublin or if he doesn't go to Cork, why would he go to Mayo? So that's what I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if he was ever offered the Dublin job, to be honest. But I suppose at the same time, yeah, like I think, yeah, I couldn't see him. I think there's a lot of moving parts to that, and like what you said, he's very involved with soccer at the minute. Like it's probably not going to happen. Like maybe he might be open to it. I'm not sure, but and again, it's sort of an interesting one because obviously Mayo do play quite a running game, so maybe Jim McGuinness coming in would suit that, but at the same time they're not an overly defensive team. It would be kind of a breakaway from how they've played under James Horan, so it would be interesting. But speaking of managerial candidates, Jimmy Slyan says here Lee Keegan will give it another rattle with the new manager, so he's tuning in there potentially in the running there as well. AJ Walsh O'Donnell says Ray Dempsey is favourite at the minute. So what are we going to say?
Another one I was thinking of is Jimmy Slyan. Have you heard about him on Twitter?
yeah.
Like I've seen the odds basically. I don't know what he's saying. I think I've seen on Connor sketches. Alan Dillon, Killian O'Connor, and Aidan O'Shea or something like that, and maybe that could be an option. Jimmy Slyan, throwing boots at the wall or something like that to try. Maybe that would win me out on Ireland. What a story that would be.
Yeah, I've seen Tim O'Leary's in the running as well, and Buffy Egan and everything. So they're definitely throwing a lot in the specials for managers. Anyway, AJ Walsh is aiming Fitzmaurice, which might be a mad shout. I mean, I've heard a lot of names. Like I've heard Fitzmaurice, I've heard Jim Gavin's even been a name that people have mentioned. I couldn't see that happening, to be honest. Even who says Kevin
McStay,
McStay maybe like could be an option. I suppose it'll be interesting, and certainly we'll obviously have to keep an eye on it.